All year long, we're celebrating WUSA9's 75th anniversary. 75 years of serving and having an impact on our community. But much of our three-quarters of a century history would be lost if not for the painstaking labor of a satellite microwave technician who has probably worked at this station for longer than anyone. And Bruce LeShan has his story.
Track 5, take it.
Stand by, Ken. Good evening.
TV broadcasts are by definition ephemeral, blasting out into the ether and disappearing. Tom Buckley has made it his life's work to save what he can.
Oh, God, it's so much fun.
Outside his Brightwood row house, the logo that hung for decades over Broadcast House, Channel 9's original headquarters on Brandywine Street Northwest.
You have to fight and scream to get these things. Yeah, when I unscrewed that from the set, when the last night of 1992.
Inside his home is a veritable museum dedicated to local broadcasting and the 75-year history of Channel 9.
This goes back to the earliest days of Channel 9, 1949. This is the WOIC ID clock.
We went on the air in 1949.
I accept with humility the honor which the American people have conferred upon me.
When Harry Truman was president.
January 16th, 1949 is when we went on. And we went on just early enough that we could do Truman's inauguration.
Tom started at Channel 9 in 1975. He was 20 years old.
To me, that's art. That's just gorgeous.
He retired this year after nearly half a century, all while gathering artifacts for his collection.
To me, that's the gorgeous one. When that's backlit, it really looks nice. And then the Eyewitness News here is the last surviving Eyewitness News banner, and there were 4 of those on the set, and that's the only one in perfect condition.
Here he is, Dick Temple.
One of Channel 9's kids' shows was so popular, ministers complained families were skipping church to watch. But much of what we broadcast in the 50s and 60s is simply gone, unrecoverable.
Reporting the news from Washington is like watching a constantly boiling kettle that often boils over.
If you lived in the D.C. area between 1971 and 1978, you probably remember the ratings kings, Max Robinson and Gordon Peterson.
He looks like an anchorman for SeaWorld, doesn't he?
And who could forget sportscaster Glenn Brenner?
Think anchoring's easy? Try it now, pal. Try it now. Go ahead, big shot. Try it now.
Local television is very important to me, the history of local television, because nobody is documenting that.
We have 2 big archive rooms here at Channel 9. They are filled with tapes. There is even some film. It would probably take years of labor to digitize all this stuff. And the machines that play tapes like these are failing.
It's like, what was America like in those days? What was the news business like? The early days of television news, 1975, 1978.
Thanks to Tom Buckley, at least some of that history has been saved.
Oh, God, it's so much fun. And that's what I say, I couldn't wait. You couldn't pull me away from it.
In D.C., Bruce LeShan, WUSA9.
Is 1 in a million. I call him Mr. Mayor for good reason, and now you can see why. In addition to his home museum, Tom volunteers and collects broadcasting memorabilia for the National Capital Radio TV Museum in Bowie, and that's where you can learn more about radio, from Marconi's earliest wireless telegraph to the development of television in our area and nationwide.